I'm Caleb Anderson, and this is the Spirit Farm podcast, where we celebrate grace and cultivate growth, body, mind, heart, soul, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all the ways that we grow, and we do it for real people in real time, authentic, real life kinds of people, not the super religious that we need to over-spiritualize everything, but also we want to talk about things that are spiritual because it's integrated into all of our lives. Today, I want to talk about the pattern of discontent. And what I love about culture these days is that you find people, gurus, scientists, specialists, therapists, everyone seems to have a take on gratitude. People are talking about gratitude because now in the 21st century, science is backing up what we've known in our hearts and souls for thousands of years. And that is that it's better to be grateful. It's better to be grateful to the God of the universe, the source of every good thing. It's better than being greedy and obnoxious and discontent and self-focused. We just know. And just a little aside, if you struggle with the idea of God and you think in terms of universe or nature or whatever it is that those words are that you like to substitute, you prefer to substitute, that's okay. Just understand that I use the term God to mean all of those things. And those of you who have a religious background, a religious bent, and maybe you're offended when people say the universe or nature or source or spirit or whatever because it sounds too new agey, kick back on that because it's all the same. It's all the same, and it really doesn't matter the language that you use if you are aligning with this God who's bigger than everything. And here, just don't forget this. People that like to use other terms and language, it's because they've had a bad experience with the term that you use. People that struggle with using the term Father when referring to God, it's because they had a bad experience with a father here on earth. If people that struggle to use the term God, it's because they grew up in a place where people preached hell and fire and brimstone, and God was always angry like a police officer in the sky, ready to just pounce on you and throw you in eternal prison. And so they're like, yeah, I prefer not to use that term because I associate it with that small version, that mean version of, quote, God. So just have grace in people's journey and the words that they use. Here's the one thing that I would say that's important as we think about gratitude and thankfulness. When we just use big global macro terms like universe, the danger is we can miss the intimacy. We can miss the personal nature of God because God is both macro and micro and everything in between. God is everywhere, in everything, the creator, the designer, the breath that you're breathing even right now. So as we think about our gratitude toward God, I think that it's important to think in terms of the universe and everything and the intimacy, the God that provides, the God that knows how many hairs are on my head, the God who molded me, knit me together, the God who created me unique, reflecting this God in a way unlike any other human being. The God that knows what I'm thinking right now. The God who knows how my path is going to unfold. It's a personal God, and it's a God that's bigger than what we can comprehend. It's both of those things. Understanding that is important. We'll talk about that more in the future, but for today, gratitude, thankfulness, and the pattern of our discontent. In some past episodes, we talked about my near-death experiment, and we talked about John Klinkhammer and his near-death experience in a boat when he was trying to water ski, and the boat jumped and it bounced, and it got him and it carved him up. You can listen to that episode in a previous episode. But what happens when people have a near-death experience is that it shocks them out of the monotony, out of the mundane, out of the whatever rut that we're stuck in, and it brings us into a new appreciation for the present moment. So when people get out of the hospital, they look up at the sky and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful, right? Have you seen this? Have you heard of this? They see flowers and they stop to smell the flowers. There's something that reorients us to the little things that are around us all the time, the miracles that are everywhere, that we have breath in our lungs, that blood is pumping and circulating through our bodies. That's the beauty of a near-death experience or some disorienting experience that shocks us out of just going through the motions and helps us to see how beautiful life is. It gives us an appreciation for the simple things because our tendency as humans is to fall into ruts and a lack of gratitude, a lack of noticing, a lack of appreciating the little things in our life. I fell into that trap just yesterday. Yesterday, I was annoyed and irritated because I couldn't find my toothbrush. And my toothbrush is one of those Oral-B electric toothbrushes, and it goes in a place, like on the counter next to the sink. There's a charger, and it sits there, and that's where it should be. And if it's not there, then something has gone terribly wrong because this is its home, right? It's obvious, it's simple, and straightforward. But I have a 2-year-old, and this 2-year-old, apparently Eden, was brushing her teeth with my toothbrush, and then she likes to put things in very strange places. So I get frustrated and go, my toothbrush is gone, like I want someone to fix it. Hillary, my toothbrush is gone. Do you have any ideas? And I'm kind of in a hurry. I'm a little bit annoyed because things should be in their place. And Hillary says, I don't know. I didn't take it. Ask Eden. And so I find little Eden. I'm like, Eden, did you do something with my toothbrush? She gives me the cutest little, yes. And then she takes me over to this bottom drawer that's nowhere near where it should be by my sink, takes us over to this drawer and opens it up, and sure enough, there's my electric toothbrush. So I had a minute there of irritation, frustration, and then I see the precious face of this 2-year-old, and I see that she's just put it in here because in some way that makes sense to her brain, and I have to snap myself out of the irritated, frustrated funk that I slipped into for those moments and remember 2 things. 1, I have this beautiful 2-year-old daughter, and 2-year-olds are supposed to do crazy stuff. They're supposed to hide things. It happens. And number 2, I have a toothbrush that brushes my teeth for me when I just put it up against my mouth. It's automated. It's electric. It does the thing. And so in like 30 seconds, I can accomplish more than what humans 30 years ago, it took them 3 minutes to do. I can be grateful for this little electric toothbrush and a 2-year-old daughter who is just such a joy and light in our home and life, even when things are out of place or a little bit irritated. Those are the miracles, and I don't want to miss them. This silly but awesome toothbrush and this beautiful daughter that I have. What is it that will snap us out of our little ruts, of our little funks, of our little irritations, and help us to be grateful for the things that are around us and the simple miracles all the time and everywhere? At the end, I want to take us on a short journey, a little meditation of gratitude. But first, I want to show you how this has been common throughout human history. In the ancient Hebrew scriptures, there were the people, the Israelite nation had been brought out of slavery in Egypt. You can find this in a book called Numbers. It's a detailed book, literally about numbers. But the author pauses to make a point about human nature, that these people who had been brought out of slavery in Egypt, that they were making bricks out of straw and clay, and they were whipped and beaten, and they were given way too much work to do and not enough compensation and not enough food to get it done. I mean, it was brutal indentured servitude. It was brutal slavery in that kind of thousands of years ago context. These were considered the people of God in that day. This was the Jewish people, the Jewish nation. And Moses comes in and he liberates them and sets them free. Moses, this ambassador, this voice of reason that talks to the Pharaoh and does all these miracles. And finally, the Pharaoh relents and just lets his people go. These people march across the Red Sea on dry land is how the story goes. That Moses puts up his staff, waters part, people walk across. The whole Egyptian army that's had a change of heart and they decided, no, we want our slaves back. They're pursuing the Israelites and they go into the dry land where the waters have parted, but then the waters collapse on them and everyone's washed away and killed, drowned. And so the Israelites, they see that, they're free, they're liberated, all the miracles, and their enemies have just been washed away. They have a little moment of gratitude and thanksgiving, but a short time later, they're grumbling and complaining. A short time later, it's, hey, we're gonna die out here in the desert. We need to go back. At least we had tents. At least we had water. At least we had food. What's gonna happen out here? And then God starts to provide for them manna from heaven. And they wake up in the morning and there's food on the ground. It's like a toothbrush that you don't have to use your arm and strength. It just pushes a button and it brushes your teeth for you. This is food that just appears on the ground. Miracle manna from heaven. But the people, after some months of eating this food, they're tired of it. It tastes the same. It's just like chicken, and it's just lots of taste like chicken every day. And we're just tired of it. We want to go back to slavery in Egypt. We want to go back there. And here's the brutal reality of it. We forget how bad it was. And we forget how good we have it. That God is providing for them moment by moment, day by day, what they need. It's not luxurious, but man, they're on an incredible mission from God. This journey out of slavery to a promised land. There's this thing that's promised. It's out there. There's a home. There's a future. There's purpose and potential. And they just get stuck in the monotony. Another way of saying it is that they lose their sense of wonder. They lose their sense of awe. Losing our awes lead to the blahs. Losing our awes lead to the blahs. Now, losing our awe. So when we forget the miracles that are all around us, that this is a daughter, that God gave me this little girl. This is a miracle of life. And she's adorable and she's fun and she's cute. Also, she hides my toothbrush, but she is gorgeous and she is beautiful and funny and joyful, right? When we forget that God is providing manna every morning, I don't have to work for it. I don't have to go out and farm. I just wake up, walk outside my tent, and there's food on the ground. This is crazy. And when we stop being thankful every day, when we stop pausing to appreciate, when we lose the awe, the wonder, the appreciation, the gratitude, we get the blahs, and it gets even worse. That's the pattern of discontent, but it goes back to, we forget how bad it was back there, and we think we'd be better off. We fantasize about being back in slavery, back in the place where we were stuck, back in the place where we were miserable, back in the place where we were locked into these patterns that were unhealthy, people, relationships that were unhealthy. And we think, if I could just go back there to the way it was, if I could just go and experience this, and we've lost the gratitude, we've lost the awe, we've lost the wonder and the beauty and the amazement of how this God provides and how he takes care of us. That's been happening for thousands of years, even after the miracles, even after these dramatic things. They think, this is difficult, let's go back, but we do the same thing. So what we want to be about is shocking ourselves out of the blahs, out of discontentment, out of it was just better before, out of that kind of ungrateful attitude and into gratefulness, gratitude, appreciation, because it's just better this way. It's the life that you want. It's a life of joy, of fulfillment. If you're not grateful today, you won't be later. You think that maybe when I get that thing, I'll be satisfied. You won't be. We must train ourselves to be thankful, to be grateful now, or we'll never experience satisfaction in our life. It does not happen when we achieve something. It does not happen when we get somewhere. Unless we cultivate thankfulness now, we will not experience satisfaction, joy, contentment in our lives. It's just the way it works. This is the moment. Today is the day that God has made. He's put you here for such a time as this. This is the spot. Your life will not be better when. Your life is beautiful now. Let's enjoy it. And from that place of gratitude, you will grow. You will go further. So let's talk about it. This is what thankfulness is. Thankfulness is appreciating what I have. Appreciating what I have. Noticing, seeing, naming, and saying thanks. That God, you are the source of every good thing, and I am grateful. You are the master of the universe, and you are my friend. You are so close that you know me. You know what will be exciting for me. You know what will be fulfilling for me. I'm going to focus on that, and I am going to be thankful and appreciative. I am going to notice, name, say it out loud, write it down in my journal, and I'm going to choose gratitude. And then this is the idea of contentment. Contentment is not needing more. So I'm thankful for what I have, and contentment, I don't need more. Now, this is where some people, American high achievers, get stuck, is because they think, well, but I do actually want more. Like, I do want to achieve more. I want to go further. I want to earn more. I want to build the thing. Which is fine. This is the critical word. I don't need more. I'm going to achieve more. I'm going to do more. I'm going to serve more people, but from a place of gratitude, thankfulness, appreciation, from a place of health and fulfillment, not from a place of lack and neediness. Because if I think that contentment is somewhere else, I'll never be satisfied. I'll never be happy. And I'll be running and achieving, trying to fill something inside of me that cannot be filled with running and achieving and chasing and trying to prove. Thankfulness, contentment, actually spurs us on to progress. Pursuing peace, actually, it doesn't make you complacent. It spurs you on to progress. Grace leads to growth. That's the paradox. That's what's counterintuitive, is that Americans, the high achievers, we think that we have to drive more, but we'll never be content. When you practice thankfulness, when you practice gratitude, when you appreciate the little things, you can experience contentment in your life without being complacent. That contentment, that gratitude can propel you on to serving more people, to doing more good, but from a place of wholeness, connectedness, appreciation, maximizing, making the most of the life that you have. So, in honor of this idea of thankfulness, I want to encourage you to practice a simple meditation, and I want to lead it for you right now. We're going to keep it very basic so that you can follow along with me in this moment, but also that you can remember the simplicity of it and practice it any day, anytime, wherever you are. Morning, in the car, lunchtime, evening before you go to bed. This can help you snap out of the funk and appreciate what you have. Be thankful, be content. It's the only way to ever experience contentment or fulfillment in your life is to practice it now in this moment. If you don't now, you won't ever. So if you're not driving and you can do this, close your eyes. I want to encourage you to open up your hands and just place them on your legs or on the armrests. Opening up your hands is just simply a posture of receiving, recognizing that you are not your own source, that the God of the universe is also the source of your life. This God has given you every good thing that you have. He keeps breath and air in your lungs even now. He designed you the way you are for a reason, and it's good. Say something, express something of gratitude to this God, this giver of good gifts. Just an awareness that you are not your own source and that you're grateful to be alive and to have access to your God. Now think of something tangible, personal, everyday, something recent perhaps that you can be grateful for. Maybe it's a person that God's brought into your life. Maybe it's an event that you've just enjoyed. Maybe it's a promotion, an experience. Maybe it's encouragement that you've received. Maybe it's progress that you've made, a gift that you've been given. Think about that thing or that person and just feel the feelings that you had or that you have about that thing or that person. Feel the appreciation. Feel the love that you have. Feel the joy over that experience. Let your mind take you back there. Feel what it felt to be connected, to be loved, to feel encouraged, for the fun that you had. Say thank you for that. Be grateful. Put your hand over your heart or to your neck so that you can feel the blood pulsing through your veins. Recognize that you're alive, that you did not design this body, that you did not create blood, that you do not keep yourself alive, but it's a gift. It's grace. God is with you. He's closer than the air you breathe and the blood that flows through you. He's provided you with life, and it's a gift. Feel the gratitude for being alive. Feel the gratitude for being you, that you have this day to still do and be who you were designed to be. Open your eyes, just feeling a little bit more still and settled, having cultivated some gratitude and appreciation, and recognize that as you focus on the good, as you focus on your generous God, that you actually come into more alignment with who you are. That as you connect with your creator, with your designer, as you connect your heart to gratitude, you become more you. And you get a better glimpse of where you're headed. Questions, issues, dilemmas that you have, those are going to become more clear, or you're going to be more patient as you're on the journey toward realizing what's next. Why? Because your heart, your mind, your soul, connecting to your creator is part of the journey. That is what's going to catalyze you, what's going to boost you, what's going to propel you down the path of where your God is leading you. I hope this meditation has served you. Please use it all the time, anywhere. Make it your own. The point is, cultivate gratitude and thankfulness, not just on a day, but as a way of life. It's just better this way. Until next time.